here in the bottom left. He's been close to being a champion, but he hasn't gotten there yet. Will he do it this time? He is.
Master Azubu Symbol.
And in the upper right, the world champion from last year, he is.
Master SK Telecom T1 Parting.
Well, you know, I don't want to read too much into the way people look before their matches, but when we were doing the camera on Parting before we started up,
yeah,
he didn't look quite as calm and confident as he normally does.
And he's normally a super confident player if you see him in interviews and stuff like that.
Yeah, like, I mean, if there's zombies outside of my closet and I just have to stay still but my heart is beating quickly, I just look at Parting getting ready to play a match on my phone.
Wait, if there's zombies outside your closet, though?
Yeah, like if I'm just trying to be really quiet so they don't find me,
okay.
And I'm like freaking out because there's zombies outside my closet trying to find me, you know, that's just looking at how Parting looks before a big match. He just looks so confident, so cool. But I didn't feel that from him. Like if I looked at that, I'd be like,
look pretty nervous,
and then zombies would start clawing on the door.
Did we decide that if you were a zombie, you'd be one of the zombies that would still have its lips?
Yeah, I would be a lipless zombie. You would be a lipless zombie.
Yeah, I would be a lipless zombie for sure.
That's obvious. That doesn't even need explanation.
No, that certainly doesn't. I feel like you would also be like the slower zombie, where I would be like the fast, feral one.
I feel like you'd be the zombie that like someone just climbs a fence and you just keep running your head into the fence. Like you're just.
Did we decide that Calder would be the armor zombie?
Oh, he definitely would be.
To shoot off the different parts of his armor before eventually his weak spot would be exposed.
Yeah. Wolf would be the guy that got bit by the zombie but doesn't tell his friends, and then they just shoot him when he turns.
We got a fast expand here, a forge expand. And we're not going to know exactly what he's doing until the cybernetics core finishes, which it hasn't even started yet, by the way.
Yeah, and as far as Symbol, most likely he's going to go ahead and just grab a third base, because that's what you do against a forge fast expand.
Yeah, well, I mean, staying on 2 bases, not a plan. It's going to last in the long run here. Well, so this is the third base he's going to take now. Just setting those lings there to make sure there's no probe. They can make a pylon or something to delay that.
Yeah. Scouting for probes as well. You got to be careful about that if they do hide one. There's so many different little warp gate attacks that they can try on you.
Yeah,
something
absolutely.
as small as 2 warp gates with a proxy pylon can be game-changing if you don't scout it ahead of time.
So right now, are you betting Parting's going to 2-base? Because I could definitely see that. This map's a little tricky the longer it goes for the Protoss.
Yeah, I think he is going to 2-base. He's got the control. I think that he needs to regain some of his confidence after his games against Sue, and I think the best way for him to do that is to put a nice army in his hands and let him micro it.
Yeah,
just let him control that army and kill a Zerg. And if he can successfully 2-base this game, I'm definitely giving him the series.
You know, I'm looking at this and I'm really wondering if Symbol's going to play that standard style, or if he's going to do something super aggressive with the Nidus Swarm here, because he's been doing that a lot.
You know,
like more than we've really seen as a trend any Zerg player do ever.
I tell you, I don't think he's going to do anything crazy like that.
Don't think so?
I think that the best thing for Symbol to do right now is to scout Parting heavily and be very careful as he nears 60 drones to figure out when he needs to start making units. Because if Parting goes for that third base, it gives Symbol a huge amount of options that he can do.
Yeah.
Whereas right now, he doesn't really have any. You know, you just kind of drone up, you get your tech going slowly but surely with Zerg. So I feel like that is the way he needs to approach this game.
The Stargate's on the way here. We'll probably see a bunch of Phoenixes get cranked out here. I don't think he's going to pull them this time. He'll probably just go ahead and send them all out, start trying to wipe out the Overlords.
Yeah.
One edge this does give the the Protoss, is that once you wipe out all those Overlords, the Zerg cannot see, for instance, a Warp Prism coming in.
Yeah,
to hit him later on. It's basically lights out for the Zerg. That's when the Zerg really has to do a good job pushing creep, because that's one of the only ways. I mean, beyond controlling the watchtowers like we just saw there, it's one of the only ways that you can be forewarned before a big attack happens.
Yeah. Well, we do have +1 on the way for Parting. Nothing is really super telling of his build so far. You know, you can definitely go into a Robo all-in. Let's see if he throws up the Robo pretty soon here. But with that +1 attack on the way, I don't know that it'll necessarily be too fast.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see on that. I'm surprised he actually did manage to get that Overlord over there in the upper right.
That could
That's
be very
actually
valuable.
pretty. Yeah, that's pretty serious because if he wants to, he can actually scout later on in the main and figure out that it is if it is going to be a 2-base all, and he'll see that.
Yeah. Well, he is getting his Robo now. I'm really wondering. I guess he's just going to go into a +1 armor after that +1 attack because I don't see any like really great timings being lined up. Normally, if you're going to go for like an Immortal Colossus all in off 2 bases after Phoenix, you're going to get that Robo a little bit earlier than he got it. And he had the Stalker out to stop Overlords from scouting as well. So it looks like this is probably going to be a 3-base build.
Yeah, and that's telling us that right now Parting's very comfortable with the late game here on this map.
Yeah. That's good to know.
Okay, we got some Phoenix harass over here, just taking out these drones. There's not a ton that Zerg can actually do about this until those spores are done.
Yeah. And, you know, this is one thing that Symbol has shown us time and time again. He's willing to make more static defense than any other Zerg, like, basically in the whole world.
Yeah.
6 Spore Crawlers to deal with these. He does not want to lose anything.
And, you know, what's really impressive about this is if he could pan this out into the late game, this guy has the best late game Zerg in Wings of Liberty.
Yeah,
easily.
He really did.
You get
for this matchup, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he'd get all those Spine Crawlers and Broodlords up, and there really wasn't a lot you could do. And because he's been pushed out here by the spores, he can't do a ton of drone harass. He's doing things like trying to pick up roaches on that rally.
All right, so we do have Colossus Tech on the way. Of course, a really nice scout coming in from Symbol. As you mentioned about that hidden Overlord, he gets the full scout on. And, you know, I think he's going to know pretty much what's going on. In fact, Parting throws down that Nexus before even starting his first Colossus.
Yeah. So, you know, from here, the Zerg will have to take a 4th. Basically, the way that PvZ works, the Zerg always has to be at least 1 base ahead. And if the Zerg is not 1 base ahead, that usually means there's going to be some kind of all-in or timing. Yeah. But knowing Symbol, I mean, he's just going to go ahead and take a 4th here.
Yeah, he may. You know, his scouting has been so perfect that he sees that there's no real attack coming. He does throw it on that 4th base while making a bunch of Hydras and continuing his upgrades. So that Overlord was actually really important because he has to feel so much safer than he did.
Oh, absolutely, and he hasn't even used that yet.
Yeah.
Now let's see if these Phoenixes coming back here actually spot this Overlord.
He knows about that guy. There's a changeling down the corner of the base, but I don't think
it's not being used right now.
Yeah,
it hasn't actually changed yet. It's still like a little zit or whatever.
Yeah.
But
a little puddle of goo.
Yeah. So we got the Hydras and the Roaches now moving out, and the game's gonna go ahead and move on.
So with the Spire coming up, there is the possibility that we'll see a huge boost in Corruptors as soon as that finishes, and then a big attack by Symbol. You know, it's kind of a mid-range thing where if he can take out all the Colossus and not lose too much of his army, he's going to be way ahead.
Yeah.
This is something that we see very, very often when these 2 exact builds line up against each other, which is a big portion of the time in macro games and PvZ.
So that Spire is almost done. And the Zerg's not going to engage just yet. He's getting that Infestation Pit as well. And we're going to go into the phase of the game here that Symbol is historically the best at. So this is going to be very exciting. You know, Parting, I feel like we don't think of him as much for his endgame builds as we do for his mid-game.
You know what? With +3 and Blink on the way and 6 gates being added, Parting is going to be attacking pretty soon here. And he's only made 2 Colossus, and the 2 Colossus are going to be quite useful, especially if a ton of Corruptors are made.
Yeah, if they overmake that, then suddenly you've invested in something that will kill the Colossi, but, I mean, they can't hit the ground, so what are they going to do? By the way, nice job there by Symbol taking out those Phoenixes. You know, Parting has been having a pretty difficult time overall in this tournament.
Yeah, he has.
This last month has been, you know, not good for Parting.
Yeah. You know, I just saw something so interesting, Tasteless. Those Phoenixes flew in, saw the Infestation Pit upgrading, and he started another Colossus. And then, as soon as they got out of there, the Infestation Pit got canceled on the upgrade, and 13 Corruptors are being made. So he is forcing Party into more Colossus, and he is actually going to go for this very layer-heavy Corruptor, Roach, Hydra, Ling army.
So it looks like Party might end up being in a lot of trouble here. We have more Stalkers being warped in over here. Now Zerg is maxed out. Zerg is maxed out, and Protoss is at about 160 supply here. And this is when the Zerg's going to take the 5th base here as well. And start pooling a lot of income here so that if he gets into a big battle and he loses his entire army, he can then insta-remake that.
Yeah. And he does start upgrading once again for the Swarm Host.
Yeah.
So he realized that this game could go very long, especially since Parting is taking his 4.
Now, I feel like Swarm Hosts aren't the best on this map.
Yeah.
Unlike Newkirk Precinct.
Yeah.
But they still can be very strong, so we'll see how that goes. It looks like the Zerg is now going to get a nice arc here to try to surround this army. And that attack's going to be beginning now.
Nice. He lures him out. The Corruptors go forward, targeting down the Colossi very, very quickly, but a good Time Warp does go down. Some nice force fields as well. Does Parting have enough to hold on here? It looks like he has more than enough.
Yeah, really nice. You know, it was those force fields there in the middle that cut up that army and made it just not possible to hit most of those Stalkers. And now with beautiful micro, we may see a counterattack coming here from Parting. He's heading down there now to what looks like is going to be probably an attack on the 3rd base, possibly the 2nd, though.
Well, you know what? There are a lot of pretty useless Corruptors out right now. Luckily, he did get rid of all the Colossi, so all these Lings he's pumping out are going to be useful, but they don't really have any attack upgrades, so that's actually a little bit sad.
Yeah, he does have the Swarm Host burrowed over here now, and he's continuing to push forward.
And you know what?
And okay, so it looks like he's going to go around this. Now, you know, with Blink, those Stalkers can just avoid entirely the Locust, but he can also try to come in here and maybe hit the 4th. It looks like Symbol's already one step ahead, though.
With how many Corruptors he has, there's no way to keep an Observer alive against these Swarm Hosts. And so
oh my god, you know what? That's a really good point.
Yeah, there's just
no way for him to actually attack in there.
He's going to be safe, and Parting realizes this, so he starts speed for Warp Prisms, grabs a 2nd Robo, and gets Zealot Charge, because he realizes he's going to have to harass like a madman and just run around the map now.
And this is exactly what you want to do when you have an army like the Zerg does. The Swarm Hosts, pretty much, as Artosis said, can't be engaged.
Yeah. Okay,
like with the Corruptors and the Swarm Hosts together, you can't really attack into that. So what he's going to do is he's going to attack the main. He's going to attack a base that's not where they are. And with the speed oh my god, hold that thought. We actually have a big attack coming up here now, and a lot of these Stalkers being picked up.
Really nicely done there by Symbol, picking off quite a few indeed.
And look at this, he's actually splitting up the Stalkers as much as he can so he can try to attack into different locations. But we'll see, though. That Warp Prism might actually be hit by those Hydras down here.
So smart by Symbol.
This could be really bad.
Oh my god, Symbol playing so well. He needs to target that down, though, and it does die.
As long as it's taken out, he's fine. These Hydras can take out those Zealots. And now he's going to push into the 4th base. And this is a location that Party has to defend, and I don't know if he can.
Yeah, this is really, really hard. Those Colossi being picked off oh so quickly. Parting just doesn't have what he needs for splash damage. He really needs some storms, or at least a couple Archons there to help take out those Corruptors.
Yeah, it's here. You know, the Locusts can keep pushing forward here on this location, and this is one of the problems that Protoss have to face off against when it's free units like Locusts. Locusts are going to do damage no matter what.
Yeah.
Over time. And if you can't come up with some kind of solution soon, this game's going to be over and Symbol's going to be up 1 game.
That's right. But you know what? We do have that Warp Prism over there, so that's really going to help out. Another Warp Prism flying south here. He's got to be careful. I was going to
say, he could be hit by those Corruptors. Now, Party's got the right idea, making a lot of Zealots and sending them into the locations where the Swarm Hosts are not. And in fact, this looks like it may force Symbol to turn around. We'll see. No, excuse me, the Locusts are just going to keep coming forward here.
Yeah. He's got to be very careful about this, though, because if he loses all those Swarm Hosts, before killing this base at the minimum, he's going to lose the game. So he's got to keep those live, and it looks like he will. I don't think that Parting can really move up there quite yet.
Yeah, that Nexus, by the way, very, very bruised. And he's going to have to use these. Okay, that's smart, just to try to use these force fields, anything to buy time. From these Locusts. He's now realizing they're about to disappear, so he goes ahead and backs away.
Well, Parting is getting a much better army than what he had. He's going to have 3 Colossi out very soon. He's got 3 Archons. That's really going to help him to actually plow through, tank the damage, and kill off any Corruptors that try to snipe his splash.
Well, those Archons, are so good at soaking up, that additional damage. And it looks like now the 5th base is actually exposed.
Yeah.
Parting's managed to maneuver over there because Symbol moved those Swarm Hosts aside. So this base will be taken out. There's no way the Zerg can stop that. And that is one good thing going on for Parting. They are now even in bases and even in supply.
This is looking better and better for Parting right now, even though he doesn't have quite the bank, and still Symbol does have a very scary army. Oh God, with 11 Broodlords on the way, that's going to be scary as well. But Parting is playing a very strong game, despite early on taking some damage.
Being at a big disadvantage.
Yeah.
But I think, to be fair, though, Symbol is now in the exact place he wants to. He now has Swarm Hosts and Broodlords.
Yeah,
and that's pretty scary, especially with its Symbol, because he's the best of the best with that. Let's see if this Warp Prism actually gets shot down here.
Yeah, it looks like it will.
Oh my God, it does, and not even a single Zealot gets out.
This is actually how smart Symbol is, that he knows he can waste 8 supply sitting there and save so much.
Yeah, and still have map control. Now, remember, those Locusts are completely expendable, so anything that's receiving damage there for the Protoss, there's not much he can do. And now with the Broodlords over here, he actually couldn't have trapped this army over here. Yeah, the Broodlings do take up a certain amount of space, and it looks like barely the Protoss army is not going to get away here. Look at the sentries here. You cannot afford to lose those sentries.
God.
This is a disaster, actually.
This is tasteless.
This
Parting
is huge.
Parting has made a mistake that we have seen time and time again from pros in Heart of the Swarm. He hasn't remade his mothership core. If that was there with him, he just warps home and he's fine. But
very true.
That's a huge mistake to ever not have that.
Those Zealots, by the way, just barely warped out here. And yeah, without that mothership core, you are not allowed to make a mistake positionally with your army.
Yeah.
You are not allowed to make an engagement that you can't win.
You're barely allowed to poke. You know, this is a really bad situation now for him. He's lost so many of his expensive units, but he's taking his 5th base, he's getting Tempest out, and he's getting Psystorm. So he's getting basically all the tools that you need against Zerg.
And you know, the thing about the Tempest is that this is the unit that you have to use against a Zerg that you can't break.
Yeah.
You need to have something that shoots so far that it outranges Swarm Hosts and Broodlords.
Yeah, you know, it's looking like a scary situation for Parting in a lot of ways, but he's kept Symbol's economy down, and as his Tempest count grows, and he has Psystorm, and he has a good number of Colossus, he can keep on fighting.
This is actually a great PVZ, by the way.
Yeah.
This is a really technical PVZ we're seeing here.
Yeah, certainly.
Now, the question is, can Parting hold this this 4th base, this northern location? Because he has to. He has to. By the way, can you check on your PC how many minerals are at the center right base and the 3rd base?
Parting's center right, his 3rd's getting a little bit low, but his center right's very healthy. But hold on, we actually have him. There you go. There is.
That's why you want the mothership core.
That's the recall that we were talking about before. Very, very important.
Now the problem is he's recalled back, so he's safe temporarily. But the Zerg army is like 1 screen length away.
Yeah,
from the next location he wants to attack. And in fact, he's going to go down all the way to the bottom.
Symbol is being super mobile with this. He's not giving Parting any time to take count of where he's at, spread his units right, and break through.
Now,
really like those moves.
It's possible for Parting to actually go around this army. The Protoss' army, even though both these armies are kind of clunky, Protoss' army is a little bit more limber, so it can get over there to the Zerg's base in time. So we could end up with a weird base trade scenario.
Yeah, I think you're completely right, Tastes. This base definitely going down, and at the same time, he's easily going to kill the 4th base of Symbol, which is going to leave both of them barely mining. But, you know, Symbol, he does have a little bit more supply because of the cancel trick.
Right.
Up over 200 right now.
Yeah, and that's one of the funny things about Zerg. Zerg can actually go beyond 200 supply up into the races because of the way that they operate for unit production. Now, this Nexus is going to be taken out, and if I'm not seeing this correctly, let me know, but I believe Zerg comes back and kills this army. There's nothing...
Well, you know,
I mean, this is like an army that can't really die, the Zerg's army, with the Swarm Hosts and the Broodlords and the rest of this.
This is another situation where I wish he had the Mothership core, because he can, like, force the Zerg to really commit to trying to kill this, then warp out, and then come back at a different angle. But he doesn't have it, so he has to be really, really careful.
Now, this is one of those moments, too, where if you look at how many minerals are in the bank, that might be the last set of minerals they have here if they can't get an up and running base. So we do see right now that Symbol is in a little bit of an advantage for that. As right now, 45 minerals now for him, and going up very slowly. All right, we got another fungal there. Nice, taking out these Tempests here.
Very nice snipe. And by the way, forgive me, he does have a Mothership core with him here. So,
he does have one.
Yeah, that's actually just so important. That means that he can stay over on this side of the map, keep Symbol kind of busy, and then always warp home for defense.
I love that snipe he had on that hatchery back there. Now, Symbol's going to double expand. Sometimes in this situation, you actually want to expand, if you're the Zerg, to 2 opposite locations on the map.
Yeah.
Because it's hard for the Protoss to get both of them. And one, you can at least mine from for a little bit.
I would say that based upon the army as and how slow it is, this might be the better choice. You know, he's playing the siege army, not the mobile army. So keeping them a little bit closer together, you should be able to kind of zone Parting's army out of that area.
All right, and he's getting closer and closer to this one location, and Parting has to get this base up and running and keep it safe. Supplies right now, 149 to 195.
And he's just Parting right now, trying to pick off anything he can. And Symbol is happy to just throw Locust after Locust up here, just killing units slowly but surely. Meanwhile, Parting has to use these Tempests to push back those Brood Lords because those are just really scary in this situation.
All right, he's going to come dive in here again. And he's going to hit all these Tempests, looks like. Now backing up and hitting these Colossi, which is also great for the Zerg.
And notice how he sits those over the entire army, and that's because he does not want them storm. But at the same time, oh my god, the Templars all starting to fall down. The Corruptor's going behind the Colossus at this point, and Parting has
that's
nothing
going to be it. This is the killing blow here, and it looks like Symbol is going to be up 1-0 so far, but Parting can still win the next 2 games after this and come out on top.
Yeah, it's a very strong game from Symbol, no doubt about it. But Parting didn't play bad like we saw him against Sue. You know, this was much more the Parting that you expect.
Right. Well, Parting is not falling off right now. Now, what he's going to try to do now is loop around this army and start hitting these additional bases over here. But at this point in time, it doesn't really matter because all Zerg has to do is go back and kill this army, make an expansion, and then destroy all the buildings.
Yeah, and he just made 22 Hydras at home, so I don't think he's going to have any problem here.
Now putting these Hydras down here and wiping this out. We should be seeing GG very soon here. There it is, GG.